This is Kendra. Everybody, welcome back to the channel. I've got a bit of Soul Land Reloaded up today. So we got a few things to cover here. We've got the second Rongrong event is up, 9 Colored Ning Rongrong. This is the secondary event, as we've mentioned in previous videos. This will be the chance for you to get your hands on the next batch of Rongrong. So right here, the 20 that you're always supposed to get, which is going to bring us up to 110. Okay, as perfect. We get 90 from the initial event, 20 on the secondary event, and then 20 on the third event. Now, the third event will not be a 9-colored Rongrong event. It will be an event for the new character that's going to be introduced, most likely Wu. It might be Tank's him, but another SS Plus character. And inside of that will be a Soul Master sale, and there will be a chest in there, and inside of that chest will be 20 Rongrong shards, enabling you to complete Rongrong. So everything is going exactly as planned. So I would suggest purchasing everything inside of this. You got some Rongrong shards, you got some SS Plus shards, you got some SS shards, you got some experience, and you've got some standard old S chests as well. Time limited sale. A few things in there. I went ahead and dashed up those, but anything that you might be short of here, you can go ahead and snatch up in here as well. Okay, but that's it. So that secondary event, it is a Friday, so we do have the Devil Whales up. So I would suggest I wait till the Devil Whales. I wait until towards the end of the Devil Whales because each time you kill a Devil Whale, it gets more hit points. Killing a Devil Whale early in the event, the hit points are so low, you do not get many points for killing it. So I wait to do it towards the event so that I'm getting a full amount of my hits. So I'm getting fully awarded the points. So other than that, we've got a time limited event. They started up a new thing here, so there is a new top up now. If you're up for that, just the Lux check in. Do $14.99 and you can get all of these shards, and then top up. You know, you can get that's quite a few shards. Does not have Rongrong in it, but it is for the previous one, so you can use those for divine skills. Deluxe check-in, same thing. This one here is a little bit cheaper at 99 cents, but you only get one shards, and it's only for SS characters, so it's definitely not something, you know. The other one's a lot better in terms of that, because you're very selective on what you can get in here. Okay, you can only get the SS Plus for bow, and for that here, you can get tag chance also, as is Ren, so the most recent one, so that's why it's a little bit more. Okay, got the active wheel up. Of course, always participate in the active wheels. The active wheel is a way to get all of these rules. Make sure you get this. So I got to do one more pull today to actually get that. Masterforged is still going on, so we're going to go ahead and take care of this. I went ahead and purchased up inside of the time limit exchange. I went ahead and purchased that. So we're going to take a look at the SS Plus Immortal herbs here in a few minutes. Let's go ahead and run through this. Everything else is pretty much same as always. Nothing different in terms of that. Secret shop, chance to get 500 if you do want to pay a little bit more. You can get a bunch of the Rongrong shards. Of course, if you're willing to spend money, you can rack up pretty quick in terms of that. So let's take a look at these SS Plus shards here. See how far we can climb through. So of course we're going to start with him since he's my maxed out character. So we'll start with the red yearning, or do we want to start with something else? The red yearning, basic attributes. Let's see here. Infernal apricot, hit points. Phoenix sunpower here. Let's go ahead and do the Phoenix sunpower since it is an attack herb. Okay, so let's inspire. So as you can see, I managed to get 50. So I did hit the iron core sources pretty regularly there. So I managed to get up 50. I'm not sure how far we'll be able to get through this. So first one is for inspire. Okay, so that's okay. So 5. So I came up one short. So yeah, it's that is quite a big jump up all the way up to 50. So yeah, this is. Is this something that you want to consider? It did give us some buffs, so it's not like it's not like anything. You know, it was helpful, but too big. This is too much. to do one SS. So this is not something that's going to be done on a regular basis, such as the soul bones. The soul bones, there are 2-3 ways to get those actual, and they give you enough that you know that within a couple of times you can actually do it, and it's only one level. I mean, you go from an S to an SS. You just got to get the 90 of the actual spirit source, and bam, you're straight into SS plus. This is much more difficult. There's not enough of these to do it. So right now, I would say that this is not something that should be focused on at this point in time. Not until they give us more ways to acquire this. I just don't see it's not worth it. I was hoping it would be, like maybe 5, or like 5, maybe 10, 15, 20, 25, 50. No, that's way too much. They need to lower that immensely. I don't, way too high to be focusing on. Until they can do more, because I'll probably purchase it, but it's probably going to take, if they're only popping this thing up in the event, in the Masterforged event. The Masterforged event just doesn't show very often. They usually have it. If they do normal, they'll have it now, but they don't have it regular. I mean, it's probably a once in a month, maybe a once every 2 or 3 months event, and that's the only place you can get it. No, they need to open that up a little bit more if they want it to be done, or they need to lower the actual thing. So for the buff that you get from it, it's not worth it. Okay, well, we'll do the final step and see how much. I assume that's when you're going to get your big BP gain, is when you finally make it an SS plus, and we'll see if it's worth it. But that's an awful lot, of a material that's not very, never seen it anywhere else. Actually, they need to add it to the chest, possibly make it one of the chest items inside of the actual herb chest here. Make it so that it can occasionally appear in here. Okay, that's really the only thing that I can see that would make it useful. But right now, there's just really not enough of those to make that into a serious usefulness. Unless you want to spend a lot of money. If you're willing to spend a lot of money, you can of course purchase them. But no, I just don't see it as something that's feasible from a free-to-play perspective. We'll work on it. We'll do it. We'll get one up. If I do, once I get to 50, but it's probably going to take 2 or 3 Masterforged events to get that. And then, because I got really lucky on this event, I pulled down a lot of iron core source, so I was able to get it. But in normal, that was not normal. So it's going to take a couple of these events to actually get that many of the actual course. Because if you look down here, yeah, it's going to take a lot more to get that. So I hit 5, so I had 15 of the ice core. So 15 of the ice core, and that enabled me to pull 5 times to get the 50 that I got. But that's not normal. I don't normally get 15. 15 is quite a bit. But I did get lucky on some of the pulls that I had, so I managed to get pretty much on about every 15 or about every 20 pulls or so, I was hitting an iron core source at least once or twice. So I was really racking them up there for a little bit. But yeah, so with 50 more, they need to make that. They need to make it a little bit more obtainable. If they do that, it might be something to focus on. But since I'm not really focusing on, since there are other ways to get the actual spirit source for the SS plus soul bones, it's something that can be done on the side. But it's not something that is going to be something that we can do conceivably. When we do get another 50, which will probably take us, like I say, 2, maybe 3 more Masterforged events. We'll crack it up and we'll do the last level to get us to SS plus. We'll see what BP we take away from it. If it's like a really huge jump, then yeah, it might be something that we want to start focusing on a little bit more difficult. But like I say, since there's only one way to get it, you just have to wait for a Masterforged event. So hopefully they'll open that up a little bit. This is not something that has been in play for a long time. Most of the information on the SS Plus Immortal Herbs that I found and read up on, that stuff was only a couple of months old. So this SS Plus for the Immortal Herbs is not something that's been around like Soul Bones. Soul Bones has been around for quite some time. This is new, taking the Inspire function, taking the Immortal Herbs to SS Plus. We knew it was going to be coming because they weren't offering any SS or SS Plus herbs. To be straight, so we were pretty sure it was going to be a Soul Bone type upgrade, meaning some type of item, and we knew it was going to be that item that was showing in the Inspire tab, but we didn't really. Most of the time was not obtainable, or now it's in-game events, of course, but the in-game event is the Masterforged event. So hopefully they'll open this up a little bit, at least make it so that you can get it in some other type of event or shop, but it's really not in much of anything in terms of that. I was hoping that they might stick it in one of these shops right here, because they've got, that they're sticking Soul Bones in the shops. The good Soul Bone materials are in the shops. So I assume we'll see it in one of these shops eventually. Not there yet, though. And it'll only be a handful of them, probably one or two, which is what they normally do when they do something like that. Just put one or two of them in there, and you'll be able to get them on a weekly basis. But for right now, there isn't anything in there in any of these shops that indicates obtaining those particular items. So I'm hoping that, like I say, it's a newer function. So I'm hoping that in the near future, they'll do something that will throw it out so that it's a more common function that we can do, because I would like to see how much we're going to get from it, because it's definitely something that it's going from an S to an SS Plus. If it gives us the same items that it gives us on the other one, then yeah, it'd be worth it. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it takes a lot of this. I can't actually, let me get back here to the Masterforged. See what it's actually called. It's called Immortal Herb Essence. This is place thing right here. So I have to see. But for right now, it's one of those things that's way up there in terms of items that it's going to be obtainable. Mortal herbs, I think they're just, I think that was the last item that they actually entered into the game. I think it's one of the newest terms, functions in terms of nudity, because all the items I could see were only like a month or 2 months old, so it can't been around for a long time. And since we just started seeing these Mortal Herb Essence that they're using right now, I would say it's a newer function. So hopefully, as the game goes on, they'll spread it out to a point where we can actually get those essences a little bit more common. Okay, maybe stick them in an event. Maybe stick them. The obvious place for them would be the Silver White shop, because that's where you actually get the actual spirit source from. So putting them right here would be the obvious place to stick them, because this is where you've got the a spirit source as. So sticking them in here would be a logical place to stick them. It would be good because that would give me something else to spend my tokens on. Because this is, you can get all this other stuff fairly easy from different locations, so there's really no use wasting your gold tokens on this. You should be, so I only spend them on the actual spirit source, and I spent them on this, but it's maxed out now, so there's no need to spend it on that. I'm not really focusing on the extended bone shards. I prefer to, these don't give you much. I prefer to use the Sea God extended bones. They're much more functional. And this right here is for I've already got her maxed out. He's close to being maxed out. Actually, I got one more set for him. Then he'll be maxed out. But I don't use him. He's support at this point, so I'm not really focusing on him. So there's really nothing else. These tokens, you can get them from chests and other things. So I don't like spending my gold tokens. Soulbone Essence can be got in the Soulbone shop. This can be got in the Soulbone shop. This you can get in the Marital Sword shop. So there's everything else in here is obtainable. So really the only thing I use this for is for the Spirit Sword. So it'd be nice to have something else that I can spend it on. And this will be a good place for the Immortal Herb Essence. So maybe we'll see it appearing in a shop pretty soon, since it is one of the hard to obtain items. And I'm hoping that once we do one, it'll big boost. I'm hoping it'll give us a really large BP gain and allow us to get up there. Because I'm at 1354, so I'm still moving up. I've got pretty much everything working on. Just working on the leveling right now is basically trying to take her to +3, because I've got Clear Scout +3, and I've got BB Dog at +3. I'm not going to take up IN to +3 because Rongrong's probably going to move into her slot. I will be taking Rongrong to +3 eventually, but for right now, I don't see. I'm not really focusing too much into her. I've got her where I want her to be at this point. And she'll move in. She'll be a nice set for the second team for healing. It'll make my second team immensely stronger because I really don't have good healing. I've got Oscar. Oscar's not bad in terms of healing, but he pales in comparison to IN. So it'll be nice to have her on the second team and then move Rongrong into the primary slot. And this will, of course, send Ren back to the off the team part, because now that I have another one, I'll be able to move her back. So the only one I'll be using will be BB Dong. And then, we'll have our next step to that. We've got a Wu coming out, an SS plus Wu, and we've got an SS plus Tang San. Not sure on what's going to be next, but we'll find out here in a couple of weeks when they do when they do the new character reveal. We'll see it, of course. We'll see it inside of the shop. So I'll start checking, and we'll see. Okay. And she'll go, and then we'll get her, and then of course we'll have the next one. We know it's going to be. We can't really tell what it's going to be, but when it comes to that's the hero details fusion. So it's going to be this right here. If you think about it from a logical standpoint, it's probably. I'm thinking most likely it's probably going to be Wu, simply because Wu's been sort of neglected to this point. So I'm assuming it's going to be Wu. It's going to be the actual fusion for her, but it'll be the new character that's introduced. Rongrong is, of course, the actual setup for BB Dongs. So it's like sort of linked together. Okay, so once we get Rongrong, we'll be able to we'll get the fusion skill activated for Rakasha BB Dong. So and then so forth, and then they get Rongrong's. The next character that comes out will be Rongrong. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be Wu. Okay, but it could be Tag Sam because they were on the same team. I mean, they're all Shrek 7 Devils, so it's not like there's any large separation between the two. I mean, for Rongrong's first one, Oscar is obviously because Oscar and her are together in the anime, so that's obvious. So, but the second one that comes off, it could be either or. So we'll just have to wait and see. Either way, it's probably going to be a really good character. Tang San, this SS Plus will of course be Tang San's final form. He's like super powerful, so that's definitely going to be, he's going to be right up there with Clear Sky in terms of power. So definitely going to be something. But that's a future thing right here. At the rate they're going, pretty soon you're going to have if you focus on the game, you'll probably have an entire your entire both teams will be SS pluses. Okay, we're already there. And a couple of more characters will be able to have one full team of SS plus and two full. The second team will be all SS plus, and then it's just a matter of doing the support characters. Okay, and as they keep introducing characters, well, pretty soon we'll have pretty much everything in terms of, everything will be SS plus. We'll have all of our first, second, and all of our support characters, and then it's just going to be a matter of choosing which ones to put um, as the main team and which ones to put as a secondary team. Once we get to that point, we'll have to start making a determination which is strategically better, because they're all going to be SS plus. So it's not like one's going to have a serious advantage stat wise over any one of the other. So it's going to have to be, what are you looking for? You're looking for AoE damage, you're looking for direct damage, you're looking for debuffing, buffing, things like that. So you're gonna have to start getting a little bit strategic with the teams. Okay, and what's going to be in your first team and what's going to be in the second team. I've got Rakashi in the first team simply because I like BB Dong. She is my favorite character, so that's why I immediately went for her. Plus, she really does. Once you get her, up and start activating her avatar, she becomes exceedingly tanky. Okay, every 10 seconds, BB Dong summons Rakasha's spider armor that lasts for 5 seconds. During this period, BB gains 16 damage reduction. Enemies who attack the armor will be inflicted with soul-devouring spider poison. Okay, over 5 seconds, these enemies receive base damage equivalent of 1,800% of Rakasha BB Dong's attack. So once you get this avatar activated, this spider armor, it only says 16% damage reduction, but I think it's more, because this almost, in some cases, it makes her more tankier than actually Clear Sky. Okay, and Ren, it puts her right up there in that. There are times, in the Treant, she'll be the last one alive. Okay, I usually end up with, now I'm to the point now where more times than not, everybody except for Ayin survives. But usually when they go down, of course, Ayin goes first. For some reason, the Treant automatically thorns her first. I can usually get her we can usually get the thorn off of her the first time before she dies, but the second time he hits her, we can't. So she dies. Okay. Then next, it's usually, believe it or not, it used to be Ren who would go next, but now that I've got Ren buffed up, and put some points into her avatar, she survives as well too. So it alternates between who might go next, Ren or Clear Sky. If Ren goes next, if Ren goes, everybody usually ends up dying. Okay, but if Ren can stay in, that keeps the actual focus on her, allowing Clear Sky and BB Dong to actually survive. So yeah, it's good, but we can usually do pretty good inside the Treant. Treant's a tough boss though. Throws those spikes up from the floor. You can try to time the armor, but it's really difficult. It doesn't give you a whole lot of time, and there's other stuff going on. So it's really difficult to get to survive in that. The boss, the nest inside of the sect is even worse. It goes into when it goes into the second phase, the first phase. Everybody survives the first phase, even my healer. Then they do an AoE screen damage, and it goes into the second phase. Ayin doesn't survive after that. She's already dead, but the other three are usually alive. And what that happens at is he throws out the beam. So what you got to do is you got to get all your... I put 2 characters, of zap them, Clear Sky, and Red. I teleport them, because when you move with them, they instantly jump. I put them behind the tyrant, and then I wiggle Rakash up and down, okay, away from the beam that's coming out. Okay, usually end up keeping 2 by the end of that phase. And then the next phase comes out. There's a whole line of many tyrants that appear on the backside, and they start throwing out beams. I don't last very long after that. So, but that's not something that you can just let go. You actually have to you actually have to manipulate your team. It's not an auto. You probably won't get much past the first stage if you auto. If you want to get deep into that, into the third stage, you actually need to manipulate your characters. But it's fun to play. It keeps you on your toes, needless to say. So I do like it. And you get good rewards in it too. It's a nice way to pick up some. You can pick up some. I'm not focusing on that, but that's where you can get out of the way. You can get the red armor. So it's definitely something that you want to focus on. But yeah, it was a nice event that they added. But that's inside the sect. So if you're looking for that, it's inside your sect. And it's all the way over here called the Tyrant's Nest. It's pretty nice. But yeah, it's a hard boss, and as you can see, it's a whole sect. It's a whole sect-based item right here. Okay, so but we're in group 2, rank 2, advanced. But it's got a pretty nice shop. You can get Doomstones. You can get amplification crystals. These are important, and you can also get the red arbor right here. 20, so that's a piece. It takes 60, so 3 times you can get a piece. 240. That's a full set, but it's, you know, you don't have to wait for the chest now. You can get it inside of here, and even if you don't do well and you just auto it, you still get enough of the actual soul core to actually, you know, be at least purchasing some of this on a frequent basis. It's awful, you know. You're not going to get more than on the average. You can probably get 3 or 4 pieces of this a day. Okay, so it's going to take a while before you actually have enough to actually start making pieces, but at least you don't have to wait for a chest. You can be working on it in the background, but you definitely want to have your first team fully equipped with the red with the Devil Whale set. That's the best set in the game, which is why it's the hardest to get. But yeah, so keep that in mind as well too. But yeah, you can get the Doomstone and the amplification crystals. In here, I just generally purchase the Time Essence, amplification crystals, and Doomstones in here. This is what I usually focus on, simply because of the fact that this is really the only consistent source to get the actual Doomstone and the amplification crystal. You can get the Time Essence inside of the Soul Boon shop as well, but I do purchase them inside of here as well too. It's all based on, you know, you can get some things in multiple shops, so you know it's a little bit easier to get certain things inside of other shops. But inside of here, Doomstones, amplification crystals, and Time Essence are my primary purchases. I don't really need this. I've still got enough to make another whole set of this, and I've got there's 2 members on my secondary team that already have a red set, so I'm really not into the point where I need to focus on that yet. Once you know, there's no use really putting it on a support team. You could move it. I mean, you can move the armor around. So if you move another character into your main team from your secondary team, you just have to take a few minutes to move the armor with it. Okay, the soul bone's not locked into a character. Okay, so it can be moved from character to character at will. So as long as you have a 4 full sets of it, you know, fully maxed, you can just alternate them between the actual users as needed, and don't have to worry too much about the actual making up a bunch more sets when you can just move it. So that's the way to look at it. But it takes a while. But there are chests, so the chests are a lot quicker. But yeah, this allows you to work on it even when there aren't chests up. So in the long run, you want to try to have at least 4 sets of it for the main team. All right, so yeah, that's all we got. So Rongrong up, get in there, purchase it. It's good stuff, always usable. And then we'll wait. You know, in another couple of weeks, we'll see the final event. We'll have an event. We'll make Rongrong. I've got enough to fully max her, so we'll fully max her out, bring her up to 5 moon or 5 sun, and then we'll start enhancing her materials. And we'll put her. We'll see what happens. Okay. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how much we benefit from her. Like I said, we might need to go a little bit more strictly on her hidden weapons and whatnot with healing items, because she doesn't do as much healing as Ayen. but she does offer support in other ways. So it might be best to just go ahead and assist her with items that support healing. And we've got that, you know. We've got Bodhi's Blood, we've got Guidance Tears. All of those can assist healing from a hidden weapon perspective. So those are the ones that you might want to focus on. But we'll see how she does, see what scores we get. What I like to do is I'll write down the scores for a couple of days prior to putting in the new character. And then I'll stick in the new character and we'll see what the scores are. I saw quite a large increase when I put BB Dog in. At first, it wasn't that much. She wasn't doing much. I wasn't doing much more damage than I was with Bo. But then, as I finally got her to +3, and finally got to put some points in her avatar, to the point where she was pretty much level with Bo in terms of where Bo was at when she was there. We've exceeded roughly. It was close to about almost 10% damage increase. And when you're talking, you know, doing damage as high as you are when you're at level 95, that's actually a pretty large sum. And it's simple because she can do direct damage, and she also, you know, debuffs and buffs. So she's got other things that she does. She's more of a team type setup, and her survivability makes, you know, if you're alive, you can do more damage. That's just about the way it is. Bo, when it was basic, pretty simple. Ayen would go, then Bo would go. That's the way it was. That's pretty much everything. That was the name of the game. Now Ayen goes, but I still have 3 people up and running, and sometimes, you know, BB Dong outlasts all of them. So she's extremely tough and tanky. That's why a lot of people were saying that she can carry a team, because she actually can with her survivability. So if you don't have Clear Sky, she's a good substitute if you're looking for some type of survivability. Okay, so that's all I got for now. Thanks a lot for watching. Remember to subscribe. Once you subscribe, you'll see the bell. Click on it, and you get notified each time I drop a video. Kenra coming at you from the corner, signing out.